Hi everyone.
Hi, Barbara.
Okay, thank you, Dolphin. I hope everyone is well, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of us to the third cohort. Is it the third or the fourth, Dolphin?
It's the third cohort.
Yeah, the third cohort of the African Women in DeFi, and today we are going to be talking about retroactive public goods funding for women and One Health. And our topic master for today shall be the Queen of DeFi, who is Dolphin Akinyi, who is also the coordinator of African Women in DeFi and the accountant at Actuate Biomedicine. I'll give a brief overview of the agenda for today. And as I said earlier, the meeting theme for today is retroactive public goods funding for women and One Health. And we shall begin with the topic presentation by Dolphin Akinyi, followed by additional comments by our Actuate CEO, Dr. Macharia Warwingi, and then we shall delve into the interactive Q&A session between the members, after which we shall have the closing remarks and announcements by the coordinator of the African Women in DeFi, who is Dolphin Akinyi. So straight to the agenda, we are going to start with Dolphin, and I'm going to invite her to begin her topic presentation. And after that, we shall have Dr. giving his remarks. So Dolphin, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Barbara, for this. Can you confirm you can see my screen?
Very much.
Okay, then. So thank you, everyone, for joining for today's meeting. This being the first session of Cohort 3. So I'll be taking you through the introduction of retroactive public good funding for women and One Health. So first we'll start with definition. Retroactive public goods funding involves financing projects and initiatives after they have demonstrated significant social impact. This method incentivizes the creation of high-value public goods by offering financial rewards based on measurable success and impact rather than upfront funding. Then we look at the key concept, which we have 4 of them. First one is public goods. Public goods are the non-excludable and non-rivalrous resources that benefit society as a whole, such as clean air, public parks, and knowledge. Second, we have retroactive funding. Retroactive funding is a financial rewards given post-implementation based on the success and impact of the project. This is in contrast to traditional funding models where funds are provided upfront. The third key concept we have impact measurement is the evaluation of a project success through metrics such as health outcomes, environmental improvement, and societal benefits. The fourth one, then we'll go to the understanding the One Health approach. First, we'll define the One Health approach, which is One Health is a collaborative, multi-sectoral, and transdisciplinary approach that aims to achieve optimal health outcomes by recognizing the interconnection between people, animals, plants, and their shared environment. So we have various key components. The first one is human health, which focuses on improving health outcomes for people through diseases prevention, medical care, and public health initiatives. The second one, you have animal health. It involves veterinary care, disease control in livestock and wildlife, and ensuring the health of pets and farm animals. The third one, you have environmental health, which addresses issues like pollution, habitat destruction, and climate change that impact the health of all species. The fourth one, we have the interconnections, recognizes that human health is deeply interconnected with animal and environmental health, advocating for integrated strategies to address health challenges. We'll be looking at the importance of retroactive funding for women health initiative within the One Health framework. Point number 1, we have enhance accountability. Retroactive funding ensure that initiatives are result-oriented, focusing on tangible outcomes and impact, which is crucial for addressing complex health issues. The second one, we have the incentivizing innovation. By rewarding successful outcomes, this funding model encourages innovative solutions to health challenges that affect women, animals, and the environment. The third importance is filling funding gaps. Many women's health initiatives face funding challenges. Retroactive funding can bridge these gaps by providing financial rewards once positive outcomes are demonstrated. The fourth importance is holistic health improvement. Integrating women's health initiative within the One Health framework ensure comprehensive health improvements, addressing not just individual health, but also animal and environmental health, creating a sustainable health ecosystem. So example of retroactive funding models benefiting women's health and One Health. One, we have Give Directly, is a nonprofit organization that provides unconditional cash transfers to people living in poverty. Retroactive evaluation of their impact on health, including women's health, have shown significant improvements in well-being. The second one, we have Project Drawdown, which focuses on climate change solution, including those that impact women health, e.g., access to family planning. Retroactive funding based on impact assessment supports continued and expanded efforts. The third example, we have the Wellcome Trust. Provides retroactive funding for innovative health projects, including those within the One Health framework, addressing issues like zoonotic diseases that affect both human and animal health. The fourth example, we have Grant Challenges Canada. Supports bold ideas with big impact in global health, including women's health and One Health initiative. Their funding is often linked to the success and measurable impact of the projects. Then you are going to look at detailed research and examples. First, we have definition and key concept of retroactive public goods funding. So we look at the key concept. Retroactive public goods funding shift the risk from funders to innovators, encouraging more daring and potentially impactful projects. On the implementation, projects are assessed after completion for their impact. Successful projects receive financial rewards, encouraging replication and scaling of effective solution. Second point on the detailed research and example, we are going to look at understanding the One Health approach. And then we'll be looking in terms of historical context and organization. So on the historical context, the One Health concept dates back to the 19th century, but gained significant traction in the early 2000s, particularly with the rise of zoonotic diseases like avian influenza. So on the other point, we'll look at the global collaboration. Organizations like the World Health Organization, which is also known as WHO, Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, and World Organization for Animal Health promote the One Health approach to address health threats at the human-animal environment interface. On the third point of the detailed research and example, we have the importance of retroactive funding for women health initiative within the One Health framework. And we look at, first we look at the case study. So the Gavi Alliance Advanced Market Commitment for Vaccine shows how guaranteed funding post-success as driven innovation and delivery of vaccine, benefiting public health globally. The other one, gender-specific initiative. Retroactive funding can specifically target women health issues such as maternal health, reproductive health, and gender-based violence within the broader One Health framework. On the last point of detailed research and example, we have example of retroactive funding models benefiting women's health and One Health. Example one, we have Give Directly. Retroactive evaluation shows that cash transfers improve health outcomes, reduce stress, and increase food security, benefiting women significantly. Example two, we have Project Drawdown. Retroactive impact assessment highlight the benefit of family planning and educational initiatives on women's health and environmental sustainability. Example three, we have the Wellcome Trust. Funded project that demonstrated significant impact in reducing zoonotic diseases, improving both human and animal health. Example four, we have Grant Challenges Canada. supported projects that successfully improve maternal and child health, demonstrating measurable impact post-implementation. So on the conclusion, call to action, encouraging the adoption of retroactive public goods funding models with the One Health framework can drive impactful and sustainable health initiatives, particularly benefiting women's health. So future direction, emphasizing the need for robust impact assessment tools and metrics to accurately evaluate and reward successful health initiatives. By understanding and applying this concept, we can foster a healthier, more sustainable future where women, animal, and the environment thrive together. So thank you, and that was my presentation on the introduction to retroactive public goods funding for women and One Health. So thank you so much for listening. Back to you, Barbara.
Okay, thank you very much, Dolphin, for that wonderful presentation. You did so well. And as Dolphin has said, retroactive public goods funding rewards past contributions to public goods, providing financial support for initiatives that have demonstrated positive impacts. And this approach is particularly beneficial for advancing women's health and One Health framework, the Sustainable One Health, which also integrates the human, animal, and environmental health. And using the blockchain and DeFi, we're able to inject economic health into Sustainable One Health. Thank you very much, Dolphin, for that. Daktari, you can give your remarks.
All right, thank you so much, Barbara. You can hear me okay? You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my throat is getting. All right, throat is parched up. Thank you, Dolphin. Now introducing us a new topic, retroactive public good funding, RPGF. This is by Bob Dresser of Optimism Foundation. You know, Optimism Foundation, the word is optimism because it is optimistic. It's built on Ethereum blockchain. Optimism, they have the optimistic token, and we call it OPS token. So, and Bob Dresser took the idea of quadratic funding to the next step. So, retroactive public good funding is, you could say, quadratic funding on steroid modified, let's say. And it is retroactive. Retroactive means looking backwards. Looking back. So, because quadratic funding, the initial impetus for quadratic funding was to fund new projects that have no history. So retroactive means that the project has got history, as Dolphin has explained to us, is a history of impact. Impact of what is called public good. You know, goods are three categories. There are goods that are public, there are goods that are private, and there are goods that are in between public and private. Private goods are those things that are competitive, that if you have that good, the other person cannot have it. For example, if I went to the market and bought all the potatoes that were in that market, then other people will not have those potatoes. They are mine. So that means that the good is exclusive. Okay, but then the other things that, for example, education or knowledge. If I get knowledge about something, if I know about something, that does not mean that I have finished the knowledge for other people. So the more I know, and even I share that knowledge, even if I shared it, it does not diminish my knowledge. So knowledge is a public good. The other public goods, the infrastructure projects such as the highways and seaports, transportation network. So when you're using a highway, because you're using a highway, it doesn't mean that you're going to finish that highway and you make it impossible for other people to use it, because the highway is a public good. So life generally is a public good, except that there are some people who are known as libertarians, extreme right people who are hell-bent on what's called private property or private goods. I would say that a lot of goods are public, but while the libertarians have got this narrative of, private property, which means that a few individuals own things, and then what does that leave the rest of the people? It is because there was no model for people earning money from public goods. So public good, ever since the invention of finance, because we finance things so that we can create ownership. Like if you buy a piece of land, or if you buy potatoes, like I said, you want to own them. So you need to have money, funding. You need to have finance. You need to be able to finance that purchase. So private property, and you see where we have this problem, even the problem of colonization, all those Europeans deciding upon Africa, dividing it into small pieces of land for themselves to own, is because of that craze of private property. Somebody known as George Gilder called that material superstition. That we are thinking that everything has to be owned by a few, people have to own in this ownership economy. There's nothing wrong with ownership so long as ownership is public good that produces public good. And so we have in the history of mankind a dissociation between ownership and public good until the blockchain came along. Until the blockchain came along, which tells us you can own things in public good, and you can even invest in public good and still make a profit in public good. So that's where we are now. So because people could not figure out how to invest in public good, all these public good projects, for example, knowledge generation, becomes privatized, and you have what people call proprietary knowledge, or what's called intellectual capital protection. As I said, knowledge is like light. It's not possible to protect light. If you shine a light, what can you do? Are you going to create darkness in order for you to protect other people from seeing the light? You see, so this knowledge protection business is a complete nonsense. Intellectual property protection, because you cannot protect something that's already out. You cannot protect light from shining. You see, so for example, light is a public good. When the sun shines in the morning, it shines on everybody. Even when it rains on everyone. So rain is also a public good. So, and it's not a material that we can fight about. But then, of course, we fight and kill each other for such things. But see, we have a very beautiful model for funding public good. Now beginning from the bare basics. We have said here in the past that women hold the entire sky. That job of holding the entire sky is a public good. So that's what you want to understand what public good means. So that when you say women hold the entire sky, who is paying them to hold the sky? Because if they release the sky is going to fall upon all of us, and then we are all dead. But women prevent that from happening by raising their hands up and they hold the sky. If women are holding the entire sky, that means that generating a very massive quantity of public good. First of all, by conceiving babies, holding babies in their bodies for 9 months, taking those babies through labor. Then after that, they give birth to children. They raise the children all by themselves, of course, everybody else participation. But that job is not rewarded in any way. The community knows that the women, they're going to raise the children, so who cares? But that work of women, now we're going to unpack it over the next 8 weeks, step by step, so we can find out how do we allocate? How do we create processes for allocation of funding into that public good for holding the entire sky? See, that's what this 8 weeks is going to be, retroactively. We know that work is very impactful. There is no woman who has raised children, and when I say that's not a huge impact. You see the whole generation of new children growing up and then become very impactful people in society because of the work of their mothers, and of course their sisters, their aunties, contributing to the development of that child to maturity, so that that child can contribute to the society. That's a great public good. And in fact, raising children and growing up families is not a competitive idea. It's not that one family is competing, that if you raise your children very well, they become very good members of society, you are taking from another person. No. As long as your children grow up well and the other families grow up their children well, we all benefit. It's a public good, all of us. So that work of holding the sky for all of us is the largest public good we have. And I think it's this a time in history of mankind. It now behooves us to think about how we allocate funding to the public good of holding the entire sky. So for the next 8 weeks, you're going to unpack that. And you know that we have a model, conceptual framework for helping us understand that. The conceptual model is called One Health. One Health, meaning that health for everything. That health depends on the biology of the woman. The biology of the woman depends on how well the woman feeds herself, her own body, her own nutrition. See, because if she doesn't eat well, then her biology is going to crumble. So it's a lot less about genetics. Even genetics themselves, the genes of a woman, for any human being, are driven or activated by the quality of nutrition. So it is said, you are what you eat. If you eat bad diet, you get bad body, get bad nutrition. So beginning that, the human health, human health from nutrition, food, access to food, high good quality food, nutritious food, not only for the support the body of the woman, but to support the children that the woman is going to bear. And in addition to that, support the children that the woman is going to nourish and look after in her lifetime. So that's what human is about. So the next thing is about where the woman lives. In what condition does this woman live? That's called the environment. Living environment, very important, because the environment is, it's called shelter. Shelter is a basic need according to Abraham Maslow, such that a woman has got bad shelter, she can get attacked by anything. Shelter protects you from attacks from out there, from the environment. So attack from small bugs like bacteria, fungi, parasites, viruses, and the whole shebang, all those tiny things, the microbe. They will attack you if you don't live in a clean environment, if you're not protected from say mosquitoes that transport those bugs. That's the living environment shelter. So living in shanties is not it's not healthy for the body of a woman. And we're going to explore how retroactive public good funding can help us understand that situation, even going forward in the future. Number 3, it's about the relationship between women and the animals, the connection or the interface, as Dolphin put it, the interface between women and the women, they say, and the human race and the animal kingdom. Because animals transmit their own diseases to human beings. You could say more than, say, close to 90% of the diseases that become pandemics come from animals. Examples like Ebola, the chicken flu, avian flu, and what else? You name any, including COVID, COVID, the coronavirus disease, which came from the birds. So all these things come from the animal kingdom, and that matters a lot. So how women, of course, now in the basic, that's why I think Wellcome Trust is coming in. Wellcome, because Wellcome is a pharmaceutical company based in United Kingdom, Scotland, which manufactures medicines, against medicine, and veterinary medications. So medicines for veterinary disease for animals. And so animal health very important because even domestic animals like sheep, goats, cows, pigs, they carry their own viruses and bacteria, which usually they can be hosting those parasites and bacteria, let's say microbes, but they don't kill the animal, but they can kill the human if the humans come into contact with them. But some of them also kill the animals. So that is why, One Health is that framework of human health, animal health. Oh, my machine is making noise. Okay, so what you're going to unpack over the next 8 weeks is how retroactive public good funding can help us finance those. Now, from the examples that Dolphin gave us, including Wellcome Trust, this group in Canada known as Grant Challenges. I know that's what somebody called Peter. What's the name of? Yeah, he's at the University of Toronto. Grant Challenges at the University of Toronto in Canada. The Wellcome Foundation and the Gavi Alliance. These are big national. Let's say these are global health programs, but they are all Western based. Yeah. What can we do about this? If as far as women in Africa is concerned, women in Africa are concerned. So we want to take action in that so that we are not always at the receiving end. You see, there's quite a number of projects that have demonstrated impact going on in places like Kenya today. There are people doing things that have impact, but can they have access to retroactive public good funding? The answer is yes. For example, there are so many people who are distributing sanitary pads to young girls in Kenya. And how do they raise the money to buy those sanitary pads and give them to young girls? Sanitary pads help young girls to go to school because there's some girls who, I don't know, girls without sanitary pads will miss education every month because they don't have access to sanitary pads. You see, that is that they are foreclosed to knowledge. They don't have access to knowledge because of another problem. It's not a problem per se. That's a problem. That's solvable. So there's opportunity for retroactive public funding for such people, such groups of people, individuals, even organizations that are providing such services to young girls to give them access to education. Okay. And even for, say, if that is built through mentoring program for young girls, so they can know how to take care of themselves and get better scores in school. Now that becomes a public good because when those girls go through such a mentoring program, they become very useful members of the society. It's a public good. And you can imagine, I think if we ask in this group here, how many projects can you think about that are actually public good? The good that the project provides it's not competitive. It's not a competitive good. It is public good because everybody benefits, but there's no model for financing. So this retroactive public good funding comes in to help us do that. And these are programs that have got demonstrated impact. Even teachers throughout the country, because teachers are teaching young kids, and you could say they do a lot more work than the salary they are paid at the end of the month by their employers with the government. Big, huge public good projects. Whether students are in public schools or private schools, it's public good because education is knowledge itself, imparting knowledge on other people, is a public good. And so we want to think about that. So over the next 8 weeks, so that by the time we are done with this, we have full comprehensive understanding of what retroactive public good means and how each one of us can participate and will participate in public good financing. One, as I said, that what is most most innovative about the public good funding is that it takes, it disassociates the financing risk, the risk of financing, and the risk of innovation. Just as we had in the in the biomedical research translation when you're talking about exploration. So public good projects are high risk, very high risk, because, and of course, there's not a single person who's profiting. So if people, if somebody is looking after profit, then he doesn't see the point of investing. But public good that is on the blockchain, because of the tokens, all the contributions to such a public good project, the contributors get awarded tokens. When they get awarded tokens, then those tokens are separate from, and actually they represent the money. So the money can be spent, but the tokens themselves are in the market. So the money is spent for creating whatever public good is needed, but the tokens are in the market. So that people who are doing the public good projects, or they're doing innovations, have the money, and they're the ones who are now take the risk of investing that money. So the risk of the money gets taken away from the investors themselves. So we're talking about dissociating the risk. The investors are riskless. The risk is zero. Let's say not totally zero, but it's actually likely to increase in value. Unlike before, when they gave out the money, they did not hope to, they never thought that money would come back. It was only going to come back from what? From just kindness, you know. They'll be paid in kind because they contributed money, and then they're wishing, they're hoping that the young girls are going to improve the country, the economy, and then we shall earn in kind. But this now, that risk of getting paid in kind, earning in kind, gets removed, and they actually earn money for investing in public good projects. Okay, so they make profits by making impact. Now the risk for making the project work goes now to the people who are implementing the public good project. That they have now they get the money so they can distribute those sanitary pads as widely as possible throughout the country, everywhere. So all the girls have got access to education. There's no girl who is going to fail to go to school because of lack of sanitary pad. See, and that's a public good. And so the job, if they're not distributing the pads, it's not because they don't have the money, it is because they're just lazy. See, so the risk gets disassociated. So there's no excuse today going forward. We implement public good projects. There will be no excuse for not doing projects because of lack of money. We shall only fail to do projects because of lack of diligence, which in Swahili is known as laziness. So public good is now what's going to make people very, very active. And so it's very exciting time in the history of mankind. So, but then of course, why we are doing these things today, like having this lesson, is so that everybody in Actuate Nation understands what's available in the markets today and how we're able to mobilize money in a very large scale. And I'm thinking that now over the next 8 weeks, we shall unpack this whole thing so that it becomes fully understandable. So there are two things that we are unpacking together simultaneously: is a quadratic funding and retroactive public good funding. Okay, so and I think by the time we're done, everyone will have at least a good knowledge of what's going on in the finance market. And today, I was excited to hear, I was listening to the Twitter Spaces, for some Kenyan, talking about Kenya's Gen Z, and they talked about blockchain voting. I was surprised by that. Was surprised. No, why should I be surprised in the Gen Z? They're saying because remember today that the IBC, I think, was inaugurated so that they can have elections or something like that. But then some guys said, some Gen Z said, we don't need this IBC. What we need is a blockchain voting. That Kenya would become a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. So they would issue people tokens and then people can use tokens for voting. Well, I think they all need to join this class, Dolphin's class in retroactive public good funding, because we are going to be talking about DAO, decentralized autonomous organization voting. Because as we have had in the quadratic funding, the work is decentralized and the people are now able to vote. Anyone in the country, anyone anywhere can vote for projects instead of waiting for a few guys, 6 people out there to make decisions and they vote. Yeah. So, well, I think that's the last thing I'll say about retroactive public good funding, except that the governance mechanism, which is how does that money get governed? Because there are treasuries. So when money is contributed or donated to these public goods, money is donated by people. Of course, you would have two types of people. Some of those people have a lot of money. Say like those people who donate money to buy the sanitary pads, they have a lot of money. But then you also have consumers in the society called wananchi who don't have a lot of money. They can also contribute a little bit of money. So just like in the quadratic funding mechanism, that the people contributing a little money, then you add the numbers of them, yeah, and then you find the square root of the total amount of money they have contributed based on the numbers of the contributors, and then you square that, and then you can have the matching fund from the big donors. Just the same quadratic funding equation. That's the same one. So because you're going to have big donors or big pocket donors coming to donate money into a project, then you don't want them to be the one taking control of what the money gets allocated to. So for example, if somebody has donated money to buy MaxiPads, and we have one person donating, but then you also want to have the people who are going to be receiving those pads who could be contributing maybe 10 shillings each, just to make sure it's just a nominal contribution, 10 shillings each, or even 100 shillings each. But 100 shillings too much, maybe 10 shillings. But they all receive tokens. But because their tokens are just you cannot say they are going to be voting with their token. Because supposing you get one person contributing 10,000 shillings, and then one little girl contributes only 10 shillings. You can see the 10,000 shillings contributor, if in the traditional financing system, the 10,000 shillings contributor can outvote the 10 shilling contributor, hands down. It's no debate. How do you overcome that problem? You issue another token, different token, which is a non-fungible token. And it's called soul-bound token. And that soul-bound token is distributed to everybody. The people with deep pockets get each one of them gets one token. And the people with little contributions, like 10 shillings, they also get the same one token. So everybody gets one token. That's the voting token. So we have a token house and a voting house. So the token house is the people holding tokens, and those people can buy as many tokens as they want. But the voting tokens are distributed one token per person, one token per person, one token per person. And those are the ones used for voting. If you had 100 people contributing 10 shillings, and only one person contribute 10,000 shillings, that one person is going to be outvoted because there's 100 people who will vote for a project, such that you don't have the richest people determining where the money is going to be allocated. They are voting for the allocation of money, the allocation of budgetary allocations, such that the budget gets allocated to the things that matter to the people who are in the project. Okay, that is why in retroactive public good projects they have two houses, token house and a voting house, and everybody must be present in both of them, and that's called a bicameral governance system. You'll be hearing these terms, bicameral governance. Bicameral means that there's voting house and the token house. This, in the traditional financing, voting was done by the people who have the most money. Yeah, if you have contributed the highest money, for example, today at the United Nations, because the United States and some those countries, the G7 are the largest contributors of funding to the UN. So they have the veto power, meaning that it doesn't matter what you say. If you're a small country like Kenya, you contribute negligible amount of money and the US is contributing all the money. So when it comes now security decisions, the US Security Council voting, whether you vote, yeah, all of you, a whole gang of countries, like all the 54 African countries, even if they voted together, the US will come one day and say, oh, we don't like that vote, and then the UN cannot pass that. So that's called veto power. Now, in retroactive public good funding, in the governance model, bicameral governance, the person in the deepest pocket does not have veto power because he gets one vote. If we had that type of vote in the United Nations, all these wars you're seeing going on in the world would not be happening, because you don't have anybody who can outvote anyone else. That we all have equal votes. It's a great equalizer. Okay, I think global peace is a public good, but I don't know why we cannot have that type of voting even at the United Nations. But we don't have to worry about those, because we want to have retroactive public good funding for women, African women, that we don't have one woman. You can have one crazy woman who's saying that she's in charge of everybody, and then she's going to outvote everybody. So only her ideas, she can veto every decision you make. All people make decisions. They want something when she comes and say, I have got the veto power. Nobody, no one has got the veto power in the governance model of retroactive public good funding. Okay. Yes. And that's the power. The power is within you. It gets back to you, gets back to the people in the communities. Okay. So I think that is what I would like to add about that. And of course, we're going to work very, very hard such that by the time we come to the summit in December, we shall have not only fully understood this process very, very well, but you have many projects to show. Many projects. So I'm quite excited. So back to you, Barbara.
Thank you very much, Doc, for your insightful comments and remarks on the topic that was presented by Dolphin, and I'm waiting to see if there are any questions in the chat box. And I want to say that if you have any questions or inquiries to make, you can always ask using the chat box or the raising hand feature, so that we can be able to identify you. And as we wait for questions or any comments, I'm going to invite the African Queen of DeFi so that she can give us announcements for the next class next week. Dolphin, you're welcome.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Am I audible, Barbara?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Barbara, for coordinating this, for being the presiding officer on this meeting. Yeah, next Tuesday we'll be having our second session of Code 3, same time. Yeah, and we'll be just a minute. I look at the topic. The topic for the session will be, Just a minute. Yeah, we'll be looking at the topic for next Tuesday will be we'll be looking at the role of blockchain in public goods funding for women and One Health. Yeah. So another announcement that I have, if you are interested to become a topic master, yeah, you can kindly DM me, and yeah, feel free. You can choose any topic you are free to tackle, yeah, and we can talk more. So thank you everyone for attending this meeting. Yeah, I can't wait to begin this road of discovering retroactive public goods funding with you. So yeah, thank you so much. Back to you, Barbara.
Thank you very much, Dolphin, for that. And seemingly there are no questions, so I guess people have understood the idea of um, the retroactive funding for public goods. And I don't know if there are any questions, and maybe the meeting will be over. You can always channel your questions to our WhatsApp group. And if you're not okay, you can also talk to any of us directly through our WhatsApp numbers, or you can also call Daktari to discuss. And lastly, I'd like to say that retroactive public goods funding holds significant promise for enhancing the health of women and promoting sustainable One Health framework. And by rewarding past successes, it not only acknowledges the hard work of health innovators, but also encourages continued progress and innovation in tackling some of the most pressing public health challenges. So, with that being said, I would like to thank everyone for making it to the meeting, making time, listening in, and always tuning in to our live streams. Thank you very much, everyone. And I have shared the attendance form because this is a Learn to Earn program. And remember, we said that for you to be eligible to earn Actuate tokens, you must register with us using our registration link and follow us on all our social media pages and platforms, and interact with the content that we post on those social media pages. Thank you very much, everyone, and feel free to reach out to our WhatsApp group, and the link for attendance has been shared. I can reshare it as requested by Elijah, so just a second. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, okay, we can speak briefly about the summit because I'm sure there are many people with questions. Just a brief update on the summit because the summit is moving at inexorable pace, very, very high pace. And so far we have how many? I think there are already 60 speakers who 60 people want to come and speak at the summit, and that's remarkable. Meaning that if you have 60 speakers, 60 or more, we have the minimum numbers needed to come and speak. Even if we don't get any other person signing up to speak, you could say we produce a wonderful summit for 4 days. Okay, that's one. So then this means that in the next few days, we're going to close the speakers because it's going to be full. So if you haven't submitted your work abstract and for speaking, just submit right now because it's closing up. So the summit is growing very, very fast. Interestingly, it's called the moonshot, like when it starts rising, and then you wonder why that there's such a huge response, because the summit is good. What we are coming to talk about is it's about topics that matter to every individual, and I think you have a big opportunity to present yourself there, and that's at KU. So big opportunity for you is to make a poster in the poster competition. And so what you'd like you to do, go to the website, read about the criteria for a good poster. And this poster, although we call it poster competition, it's really not competition as such, because it's a platform for you to show yourself, okay, to the people. Let people know what you have. There is no point of getting all that education and then don't let people know about it, because nobody lights a candle and then covers it in a bush or basket. Nobody lights a candle. See, a house on the hill cannot be hidden. So you want your light to shine. And summits like this are opportunities for making your light shine. Besides that, it's the big opportunity for networking, for your career development. But in order for your career to develop, you want to write something to show people, make a poster. You want to speak to people. You tell them, this is what I do, and this is my work. And you guys, I am very good at this. Believe it or not, I am very, very good. So come and show the people how good you are. Yeah. All right. This is kind of like a fashion show. But this fashion show is not for showing up dresses and trousers and hats. It's for showing up your intelligence, your consciousness. Come and show off your intelligence. That's what it's all about. You show off your intelligence, and the people know, and everybody is happy for that public good. You say that knowledge is public good. So come and show off your knowledge, and don't be shy even one bit, because there's no room for being shy about your knowledge. You're already a very knowledgeable person. Come and show. So the other thing is that we have invited many sponsors. Some certain sponsors have begun responding. And as I said yesterday, you yourself, you have the power within yourself to convince people, sponsors, particularly people who are in your career path. Career path is like where you would get a job in the future, because there's always career inspiration. The way to get career advancement is to engage an organization that you hope to employ you in the future in this manner. And if you can get in that, because initially, when you want to know people in an organization and you want to apply for a job, they might tell you there's no job available here. But if you are telling, if you know a certain company and you really would like to work there, first of all, talk to them about the summit and they are coordinating. So you have a reason to talk to them, and they're not going to brush you off and say, "Oh, we are not interested in this." If you can sell yourself very well, sell your ideas, put yourself summit, and tell them you can come there as a sponsor, and you are very, very convincing. As I have told you before, this is an opportunity for you to showcase yourself, to shine, so that you can shine in other companies, so that you're convincing. You know what we were talking about, communication skill. Your skills of communication becomes apparent. And of course, initially, when you try to communicate with other people, it is always scary. Where does the fear come from? It's called fear of rejection. Nobody does not have that fear of rejection, being told no. And then you think that they're telling you no because you're not good. No, far from that. If you have someone telling you no when you're asking for something, it's not because you're not good, it's because the person has not understood the goodness of what you're presenting. I repeat, that person has not understood the goodness of what you're presenting. So instead of you feeling bad or dejected or rejected, you should ask yourself, oh, that person did not get it. How could I have said it differently? You check yourself again, because this means that you actually have the power. That message to get people to do what you want is inside you. That message is already inside, but it's not obvious. The message to get people to do what you want, like even to advance in your career, to get people to buy something from you, even to buy sponsorship from you, that message is inside you, inside. Okay? That message is what's called power. So it is very hard to get that message out. It is very, very hard for us human beings. What causes that difficult for getting a message out is something called the mind. Your own mind, my own mind stops me. Because my mind, what my mind does when I want to go to talk to somebody, my mind starts creating reasons for me, tells me reasons why I'm going to be rejected. Because my mind convinces me that I'm going to get rejected, I get rejected. You can see that because my mind tells me I'm going to get rejected, I get rejected. Because the world is the way it is, because of the way you are. There's nobody who rejects you except your mind convinces you that, and then you believe it, so you get rejection. So how do you overcome that? Is when your mind starts creating reasons why this person is going to reject me. Because let's say your mind is also called the serpent. You know that serpent? You remember that serpent described in the old scriptures, old text in Genesis 2. The serpent, the knowledge of the serpent that told people, those two people were living there called Adam and Eve, to eat the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. That knowledge of good and evil is being rejected. So how do you know you're going to get rejected? Because the serpent has told you that you're going to get rejected. That's your mind. So your mind tells you that. How do you tell that serpent to go away? Tell it to shut up, keep quiet. I'm not rejected. So even if you went to someone and then you got brushed off, don't take it serious. Don't take it serious. Take no heart. It's because that person did not get what you were saying. So it's up to you to say, or did I communicate it the way? But there's nothing good or bad. There's no good or evil. You're not rejected at all. It's that the message did not come out. So all you have to do is polish it again. Maybe go back to the person, or maybe go to the next person. Go to the next person. Going to the next person helps you to polish the message. What's called sharpening the sword. So your sword gets sharper at each attempt. See, sharpening the sword. According to Stephen Covey, sharpening the sword is one of the 7 habits of the highly effective people. To become effective is you want to continue sharpening the sword each time. For example, if you have a sword and you want to cut off a branch, you try cutting the branch, and because the sword is very blunt, it doesn't cut. In Kikuyu, we say, "Ona rutigelea ini," it cannot even cut the liver. It is so blunt, it can't cut the liver. If the sword is blunt, it needs to be sharpened so it can cut. So it doesn't mean that the tree or the branch is angry, it's rejecting the sword. If the sword is not sharp enough, the sword only needs to be sharpened. And then you know what? When you sharpen the sword, just with one blow, the branch will go crying, screaming, falling because being cut off. Okay. So what I'm saying is this: that if you are up to it, of course you have to up to it. I know you are up to it, of course, because you have the power. That's what I said the other day. Examine yourself. Do you not know that you've got that power inside yourself? Having that knowledge is important. You have the power. You have the power to create that poster. You have the power to come and speak to the people. You have the power to go and speak to potential sponsors so that you also earn money while doing it. You have all that power. If you don't think you have the power, it's because you don't believe you have the power, and that is dangerous. Lack of belief is dangerous. So you want to examine yourself and say, don't you know you have got the power inside you? Unless you fail to meet the tests. That is what Paul was saying. Don't you, unless you fail to meet the test, that you've got faith. It's about faith, having in faith in yourself. Have faith in yourself. And so that if you get someone saying no, forget that one. It's not because they mean no. That person has not understood. And just give you opportunity to sharpen yourself. Sharpen the sword. Now, I keep talking about Stephen Covey. I think you should all read that book. It's available for free. You YouTube, 7 habits of highly effective people. So one habit is sharpen the sword, because you can never cut a branch with a blunt sword. Okay, so that's what I would like to add about that. So I'm excited about the summit. So many good things have happened over the last 1 month, and so many more good things are going to happen over the next few months, and you want to be at the center of good things. Okay, thank you so much, Barbara, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Doc, for that announcement on the summit. And I think everyone now has the details about the summit and how they can be able to participate. And with that being said, I think we can close for the day. And I wanted to announce that we shall begin classes on water on Saturday, the 13th of July. And I'm inviting everyone to join and begin to participate in how Actuate, blockchain and technology, the decentralized finance is going to ensure the access and management of water, especially in the arid and semi-arid regions of Kenya. Thank you very much, everyone, and the meeting is adjourned.
All right, bye everyone. See you tomorrow.